O te tū lai atu I le awa ma le whaaloalo tele. Ma lo le soifua maua. Ma lo le langi e mama. As I plant my feet on the stage, I remember those who have paved the way for me to do so. As I stand, I remember my ancestors who voyaged the vast ocean in search for a place they could call home. My people, our people, were the best navigators this world has ever seen. So, my question to you is, how are you navigating through life's most challenging times? Just like my ancestors, their journey to find home was never smooth. They too encountered many highs and lows, voyaging through some of the toughest terrain there is. Some survived, and some they didn't. My ancestors navigated the ocean by using their hands to measure the degrees in which direction to go, using the stars, the moon, and the sun, and the birds that flew past them as tools. My ancestors voyaged through some of the most murky and unsettling conditions out there. And just like me, I'll be sharing about some of my murky and unsettling journey called life. So, prepare yourselves and your hearts for my navigation. I'm a proud Porirua kid, born and bred in Waitangirua and Ascot Park. I grew up in a big Samoan family. You know, those big Samoan families who all lived under one house, where eating on the floor with a sheet laid out was normal. The smell of Maggie's noodles and that smell of chicken sachet lingered the room. The sound of my father snoring echoes through the walls of the house. The sound of Crash Bandicoot crushing and spinning those boxes. Bro, give me one more turn, please. Throwing the control to the ground. My upbringing was staunch. It was one of those Samoan families that if your cousin got a hiding, you're bound to be the next one up. My upbringing was staunch, where words were said out of anger. You're hopeless. F you. Look at you. You're useless. Words were said without the realization that they would affect you for the rest of your life. The power of words were sometimes more dangerous than the hidings I got. My upbringing was staunch. Why are you crying? Do you want one more? Just like the ground, the tears from the skies hit it. And just like my pillow, tears from my eyes hit it. Holding my pillow so close to my face, squeezing it so hard and screaming into it so no one can hear me. Ah! My upbringing was staunch because that's all they ever knew. I struggled with navigating through the murky oceans of high school. I was the class clown, disruptive, and I always loved a good fight. At 14, I was kicked out of college and I was classified as an at-risk student. So I was sent to an alternative school. I met others exactly like me, and I was not alone on my journey. Now, all I remember from Porirua Activity Centre was that sense of family, that sense of whānau. They showed me that I was more than just another brown kid who was naughty, who had no future, and had no ears. They made us feel like we were loved. And for most of us, that's all we ever wanted. It was a safe space, a place for us where learning was more fun there than anywhere else. You don't want to be another statistic that the government can tick off their box, do you? Words spoken to me by Latu this path, I had a rocky and unstable future. 2 terms later, and the school that kicked me out allowed me to come back. Now, the transition back into mainstream schooling was hard, and I struggled. I left that safe haven that allowed me to engage in my learning. And just before you knew it, I started to rebel. I started to wag, and I hated school. I eventually ended up on the deputy principal's behavior and attendance contract. And not long after that, I graduated from the deputy principal's contract to the principal's contract. At 15, when things were getting better, life decided to throw me another curveball. A message from the stranger on Bebo, and it read, "Hey, your real mum that you're with now isn't your real mum. Your real mum is this lady, and I am this person, and I've been searching for you for years." And I was like, yeah, surely this is a joke. I turned to my cousin, and I say to them, "Hey, have a look at this message I've received." And their face told it all. For weeks, I held the secret inside of me, and it slowly began to pull me down. I felt like my life was a huge lie, and I wanted to end it. One morning, I ran away from home with a note written on my desk. I know the big secret about my mum. I ran to my school. The one place I hated, I ran straight to it. I needed to talk to someone. I needed to talk to the guidance counselor. My heart was shattered. My body was numb. By my 16th birthday, I knew it was my day. I knew it was the day that I had given up the fight with depression, and I started to harm myself. You see, just like my ancestors, they endured strong winds and rains, massive waves that would consume and swallow their waka if they didn't navigate through it well enough. And some survived. And for others who gave up, they were swallowed. And that's exactly how I felt. All this pain and suffering was slowly, from the inside out, destroying me. And I wanted it to stop. Many people have had their hand on my life, and I owe it to them and myself to do the best that I can do to overcome my own demons. Where did I draw strength from? Well, there was only 2 things in my life that I really enjoyed, and they were sports and Siva Samoa. At 18, that class clown, annoying student, fear gangster, made it to a New Zealand tag team. It's very similar to rugby league, with no contact, but that didn't stop me. And you have tags on the side of your shorts, running it straight. Sole, run a 2 and hit me with our unders, pumping my legs, driving my shoulder into their ribs. Oh, tamate, tamate, kora, kora, tamate, tamata, uru, uru, na, na, tsukai mai pata, pititera. Wearing the black jersey as the captain of the under-18s at the Tag World Cup 2012 was one of my proudest moments. But the thing with sports is only one team can win, and I hated losing. If I wasn't outside playing touch with the boys, I was outside making sure that everyone attended poly club practice. Poly Club gave me that sense of belonging. Exactly like how PAC gave me a place to belong, I found it in Poly Club. And that's where my passion for Siva began. Siva hits different than sports, with the Samoan cultural values of whaalualu, respect, service, tautua, and alofa, love. My hands, as I gracefully curve them in and out, as my hands and my eyes glance upon the audience, the sound of the fala. The smell of baby oil fills the air, making my body look like the rocks. Red lipstick on my face, drawing my Samoa closer to me. My ancestors, as they echo our stories in our mother tongue. Slap, 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 slap. My hands as they accentuate the beauty of my Samoa. Da 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 da. Slap, 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 slap. Clap, 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 clap. Yahoo! But with Siva Samoa, you always win. Tautua dance was an idea that came up during a conversation with my partner, Sophia Uele, who I met at TEDxPipitea Performing Arts. Now that's a story for another time. We were navigating through some rough and rocky obstacles during our relationship, and we needed somewhere to draw strength from. How are we going to get ourselves out of this rough patch in our relationship? And from a little idea, we created Tautua Dance in 2016, May the 1st. And that idea and conversation turned into our saving grace. Tautua, meaning to serve or to be of service. 5 years on, and we have taught thousands of students, ranging from all different ages, cultures, and walks of life. 5 years on, and we have seen students like Malia, who was crying in her first lesson, transform into strong, powerful, and resilient Samoan queens and kings. 5 years on, and we are still providing that safe space for students in Porirua, Hutt Valley, and Wellington to come and learn Siva Samoa, language, history, and to connect with others who are wanting to connect with their identity. You see, these hands used to throw a rugby ball. These hands used to get dirty on a Saturday and Sunday morning at Ascot Park. In 2019, the 10th of January at 9 a.m., these same hands caught my papa who fell. These hands helped lift him onto his hospital bed. And moments later, these hands felt him leave this world. My papa took his last few breaths in these hands, and I'll never forget that moment. For weeks and months, I blamed myself. I went through the should-haves and could-haves. It was hard. Now, my hands have a different purpose now. My Siva Samoa has become more special now because when I Siva, I connect to my papa. Centuries ago, my ancestors navigated the vast ocean using their hands to help direct them in which direction to go. My hands, when I Siva, direct me to an energy source undescribable. My hands have helped me navigate through some of my deepest and darkest moments in life. The people I surround myself are like the birds that flew past while my ancestors were voyaging that vast ocean. The stars in the sky are like the dreams and aspirations I have for my children, my students, and tautua dance. The sun and the moon is my faith in God as He shines His light on my life. Even today, I find myself in dangerous waters. Early this year, I sailed into the storm of cancer. As hard it was on me and my ainga, I continued to follow the path that my ancestors chanted many years ago. You too will encounter these deep and dark situations in your life. My strength comes from my ancestors, my ainga, my siva. So, where do you draw strength from? Tautua Dance is more than just a dance company. We are a family, ainga, whānau. Through Tautua Dance, myself and my partner Sophia have become better people, better parents, and we hope we have become better Samoans. My language is limited. I could probably hold a conversation with you for only 5 seconds, but turn on a Samoan song and watch me clap, slap, 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 slap. Turn on a Samoan song and watch my eyes filled with excitement and watch me grow 6 inches taller. Turn on a Samoan song and let my siva speak fluent Samoan to you.
Ole o langa o Samoa, e mana ia tele lava, e mawae vae o na tūlanga, I le soifua mai o tangata.